HFY Love in the Stars. In the vast, frozen expanse of Sector 18Q, orbiting a lifeless planet named Parnassus, the Raven's Grace drifted silently above a shattered moonscape. Its emergency beacon had been blinking for 72 hours. Lieutenant Commander Elise Rourke's fingers trembled as she tightened the thermal seal on her suit. She was the last human on board, if you could call this being on board. The Raven's Grace had been hit by a kinetic mine 3 days ago, rupturing the aft hull and venting 3/4 of its crew into vacuum. The ship's core was stable, but the internal heating systems were wrecked. Temperatures had dropped steadily, and by now every breath came with a bite of frost. She'd rigged power from an auxiliary drone to keep her comms open, praying a patrol ship would catch the signal. But Sector 18Q was a dead zone. No colonies, no commerce, no reason for anyone to be out here, except her now-dead diplomatic crew, who'd been trying to establish relations with the Thoraxi Dominion. Rourke curled tighter into herself, tucked into a collapsed maintenance bay. Every joint ached. Every heartbeat felt a fraction slower. Her eyes closed despite her will. Then came the knock. A sharp 3-beat rapping against the sealed hatch. Not the metallic clatter of loose debris or drifting tools. No, this was purposeful. Live. Rourke sat up, adrenaline chasing the frost from her veins. She stumbled to the hatch and peered through the narrow viewport. An alien stood on the other side, tall and wrapped in what looked like metallic organic armor. Its skin shimmered with a pale blue iridescence, visible in patches where the suit had cracked or peeled away. Its 4-fingered hand was raised in greeting or warning. She blinked twice. "No way," she muttered, breath fogging the inner visor. The alien raised a rectangular slate and tapped it. A voice, mechanical, clipped, echoed from it. "You are warm. I am freezing. We must share body heat, human." He stared. "What?" The voice repeated. "You are warm. I am freezing. We must share body heat, human." The translator must have been rudimentary. Or maybe this was standard diplomatic protocol for its species. She hesitated, then popped the manual override. The hatch cracked open with a hiss. The alien stumbled forward, collapsing into her with a weight that surprised her. Its suit was frosted over, and its limbs trembled. Without thinking, she grabbed a thermal blanket and wrapped it around the two of them, collapsing back into the maintenance alcove. "You're alive," she whispered. The alien made a low trill, then shuddered. The Thermis protocol. Over the next hour, the alien stabilized. It communicated via its slate, occasionally trying to vocalize in its own language, clicks and harmonic tones that echoed unnaturally in the confined space. From what Rourke could gather, its name was Kellandar, of the Veraki emissary caste. It had been aboard a Thoraxi ship observing the same diplomatic rendezvous. The mine had hit both vessels. The Thoraxi were likely dead. Khan had launched an escape pod, traced her beacon, and boarded the crippled Raven's Grace in search of heat. Thermis exchange protocol, the slate read. Veraki physiology required shared warmth in emergencies. Solitary survival in cold was fatal within hours. "Guess I'm your only heat source, huh?" Rourke muttered. Khan tilted its head. "Correct. Human core temperature is ideal." She flushed under her thermal suit. "Glad to be of service." Adaptation. They survived the next 3 days in close contact. Rourke shared her rations. Cullen shared his translation matrix, improving communication. They huddled beneath heat-absorbent blankets wrapped in emergency foil, pressed together more closely than Rourke had ever imagined she'd be with a non-human life form. "I must admit," Cullen said one evening, his voice now recognizable and smooth, the translator finally tuning to a near-human tone, Your biology is remarkable. You emit thermal energy at an inefficient rate, yet it's comforting. Thanks, I think. I now understand the phrase snuggle from your lexicon. It is unexpectedly optimal. Rourke chuckled. You say that like you're running calculations on it. I am. Despite the situation, they began to talk more about Earth, about Veraki Prime, about art, science, history. Rourke learned that Kellen was a diplomat in training, fascinated by emotion and human irrationality. He, in turn, found her stubbornness admirably inefficient. Sometimes, when she drifted to sleep, he would hum softly. The harmonics resonated through her bones, calming her even in the metal tomb of the maintenance bay. Rescue and reckoning. On the 6th day, the long-range scanner chirped. A Union patrol ship, the Osprey, had entered orbit. Rourke staggered to the comms port and lit up every signal channel. By the time the Osprey arrived, her legs could barely support her. She and Kellen stood at the airlock, arms around each other for stability. When the rescue team breached the hull and pulled them aboard, several Marines hesitated at the sight of the alien clinging to their officer. It's okay, Rourke said. He's with me. Debriefings and detentions. Union command wasn't exactly thrilled. An alien diplomat, an unauthorized one, being smuggled onto a patrol ship set off every protocol siren in the book. Kellen was placed in containment, albeit humanely. Rourke was debriefed for 10 hours straight. He saved my life, she said again and again. We saved each other. That was enough to get her off the chopping block. Barely. Kellen was eventually handed over to the Interstellar Relations Bureau, and she was ordered to return to Luna Base for medical leave. Dreams of frost and fire. Back on Luna, Rourke couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she felt the cold again. Not the biting chill of the Raven's grace, but the absence of Kellen's presence. The quiet hum of his voice, the steady thrum of his second heart, the strange but oddly comforting way his eyes glowed faintly in darkness. She missed him. One night her calm tablet blinked. An encrypted message. Elise Rourke. Permission has been granted. Location: Embassy Wing, Lunar Sector 3. She didn't even bother changing out of her jumpsuit. At the Embassy Wing, she was met by a Veraki envoy, a female clad in polished armor laced with green gemstones. He is waiting for you. Inside the chamber, Kellen stood by the artificial fireplace, no translator slate in hand. When he saw her, his expression, subtle, alien, brightened unmistakably. I missed your warmth, he said, his voice less processed, more real. She stepped close. Me too. They stood in silence. Then he extended his hand, palm up, an old Veraki gesture of bond recognition. I requested assignment to Luna. For research. Cultural liaison. Cultural, she teased, taking his hand. I want to study the phenomenon of us. Stars beyond frost. Their relationship didn't become public for another year. Not until they were both part of a joint diplomatic mission to Kepler 442b. By then, it didn't shock anyone. Humanity had seen plenty of xenodiplomacy. But to many, their bond remained unique. On the frozen moons of the Hycarian Drift, they became a living metaphor for peace. A human born of fire and a Veraki forged in frost, surviving the void not through might, but shared vulnerability. Every time Rourke was asked how it began, she would smile faintly and say, he said, you are warm. I am freezing. We must share body heat, human.